going to be a dandy. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, high school hockey fans, for this week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey, which is going to be none other than interesting season from week to week. I'm Mike Hammett. Got Bill Jr., got Delmar, and guys, wow, how are we going to pull this off?
Well, we knew that, when Trasher retired that, things were going to be rough, but we didn't expect things to fall apart quite to this level.
No, and COVID probably really didn't help it much either.
Well, COVID's what caused it to get to this level. Come on.
It wasn't just Trasher?
No.
Oh, Trasher's retirement?
Yeah.
No, but the last WIAA to have a state tournament to finish was hockey. Last year after hockey, they pulled the plug on all the basketball tournaments. So we were able to get a full season in, but yet this year is just going to be like none other. I mean, it's
and we've been checking with the coaches and athletic directors and stuff, and trying to figure out what's going on with the various teams and the various conferences around the state, and we kind of thought we'd take it conference by conference, and we'll let you know what we actually know, what we think, and maybe what we hope are just some wild ass guesses. So I guess good place to start is at the top of the conference list with, on the boys' side, the Badger North and the Badger South, which, from what I understand, don't really exist this year. What do we know about them?
Doesn't really exist. There's going to be no conference champion, and really there isn't going to be any conference play. So I guess anything you want to play is going to be non-conference.
I think part of that has to do with the fact that, since teams are unavailable.
Well, a lot of it also,
them,
Junior.
So, if Madison Edgewood and Waunakee want to play, 6 times, let them do it. Who cares?
The problem is they're both in Dane County, and Dane County has the restrictions, which has really put a squeeze on the Badger Conference.
Yes, McFarland, Oregon, and Stoughton are all practice only until Dane County's restrictions are lifted. So that's kind of tough to field. That's like half of that's literally half of the Badger South. Or Waunakee's in the north. That's part of the Badger South, part of the Badger North. The whole Madison area is just, it's a problem.
Right.
Monroe is playing Waha, so.
Yeah, DeForest is playing Waha. Waunakee's playing Waha.
Verona.
Monroe's playing Waha.
Milton is playing Waha.
Well, Verona's not in the Badger.
That's
conference.
Right. They're in the Big 8.
Yeah. The Badger conferences looks like those that are playing are mostly playing Waha. There's a couple that are still listed as WIAA, but they're practice only until they can actually get out there and play. And then it looks like Edgewood.
Edgewood actually got a game in this past weekend. Friday they played USM. USM won that game. I'm just kind of glancing through as you guys are doing that and seeing who did play as we're looking at it right now. So you do have Madison Edgewood having gotten in 1 or 2 games this weekend. They played Fond du Lac on Saturday. So
Baraboo Portage and Reedsburg, Wisconsin Dells both have games on the schedule, so we'll see. We've got a survey up on the site that Coach Brian Brandt, Wausau West, the president of the Wisconsin Hockey Coaches Association, put together for all the boys teams. Sauk Prairie in the Badger Conference is one of the 3 teams that hasn't responded to that yet, so we don't actually know what their status is. But yeah, the Badger Conference is not a thing this year. Everybody's just kind of trying to get in what they can get.
Okay, so what does the Badger Conference on the girls' side look like, Del?
Actually, right now on the girls' side, you've got two or three of the teams that are playing Waha to start the season. I'm just trying to look it up real quick since I had it here earlier. You got the Cap City Cougars, Metro Lynx, and Rock County are three teams that are playing Waha to start the season, but so that takes you right down as to who you got playing from that conference in the WIAA to start.
Yeah, I guess those would be your Dane County based teams then.
Well, except
Dane County, Rock
where
County.
they have the toughest restrictions.
Rock County is literally not Dane County, but I'll give you that one.
Did he say Rock County?
He did.
Yeah.
Yes.
He did.
Damn it.
That's okay, but I mean they're in the Badger Conference and everything, but they're down there in Rock County, and I forget what all schools are involved in that on that team. Being a co-op, but it's one of those things that you do have some games that are supposed to be going on in the next week or two, but it gets difficult when you have just like on the boys side, you've got county restrictions as to what's able to go on. We're sitting here looking at Wisconsin and the restrictions, but if you actually looked out at California, they said no contact sports at the professional, college or youth level for the next 3 weeks out in, I think it was Santa Clara County out there in California. So, I mean, I don't know what you do at this point and everything. It's one of those things, even sitting as a supervisor on the county board, you're limited on questions. And so when it comes to having to make these decisions as athletic directors or whatever else, you got to play it safe.
Oh yeah, I forgot that Dell's a politician now, so he gives the long-winded answer to a quick question. All right, so Badger Conference boys or girls pretty much aren't going to exist this year. How about the Badger Land?
You mean my favorite conference?
Your favorite conference? Our favorite. Oh.
They look pretty much intact this year. I know Waupun didn't start skating until the 23rd. I believe winter sports opened on the 16th or 17th. They didn't start skating until the 23rd, but other than that, it looks like at the moment the rest of the conference is intact. They've all got various, visitor restrictions, 2 adults per skater kind of thing. But other than that, that conference looks intact, playing a WIAA schedule right now.
And I guess that brings us to another question. You mentioned the restrictions on the fans watching the games, and I mean a big part of our, the most fun part of our job in doing this Wisconsin Prep Hockey thing is going to the games. So as it stands now, we don't really have any plans or know how we are going to be able to attend any games that have restrictions. So we probably need to get some coaches or something involved, somebody that can let us know if they have exemptions, for press, if we're, or media, as you say, if we can get to some of these games, because it sure makes it easier to report on this stuff if we could actually, see what's going on.
And we'll social distance.
Oh yeah, I don't like to. I generally try to keep away from people anyway, and people try to keep away from me.
Standing near parents.
I usually say it's just I'm looking for a good place to take pictures from, and that's usually down in a corner away from everybody else. So,
could you imagine Trasher having a social distance at one of these games?
No,
I can't either.
Work.
No.
All right, so Badgerland is good. Well, the Big 8, that's one that we know is kind of heavily skewed towards Dane County. So, well, yeah. And
I believe right now, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Janesville is the only school in the Big 8 that is playing WIAA hockey.
I believe it is.
Everybody else,
Madison West, Middleton,
Sun Prairie, Verona. Yep.
And as I understand it, those Dane County teams aren't allowed to go outside of Dane County to play anybody either, or like nobody can come into Dane County to play them. Is how I understand it.
Right. That's how.
Because like WIAA teams and WAHA teams can play each other. It does happen from time to time where, a WAHA team plays a WIAA team. That's fine. As long as you follow the NFHS rules for that game, you can play those teams. But as I understand it, teams from outside Dane County can't go to Dane County to play.
Right.
So.
But Dane County teams can
go elsewhere?
Yes.
They can go. They can leave, but they can't. Other people can't come in.
So basically, they're road warriors.
Or they, I don't know. Like, are the rinks open in Dane County? Can they just beat the hell out of each other for 24 games and then call it a day? I mean,
well, there's enough of them. It's practically the Big 8. The Lakers, Memorial, West,
Middleton, Sun Prairie, Verona.
Yeah, they can just say that's almost their conference there, and just every once in a while on a weekend go out and play a WAHA team. Well, whatever. So it doesn't exist as WIA, but most of those teams are playing WAHA.
And Janesville just had a couple games canceled, right, MJ? The team that is playing WIA.
Yes, they had 4 games canceled this week, and 1 next week. And they can't play games until right now it's scheduled. Their next game would be on December 17th. So, that's 5 games that somewhere along the way you kind of hope to make up, but there's just no, there
is no guarantee that they'll be.
There's no guarantee, right? There's
nothing that we've said so far is guaranteed to last beyond the
this
end of
podcast.
Yeah. All right. Big Rivers. Big Rivers is next.
As far as I can tell, the Big Rivers is chugging along as normal.
Okay.
And that'd be on the girls' side too. Starting practices a little bit later than almost a month later than what they would have under the regular rules, but
Chippewa Falls had a November 23 start, but
on the girls' side they don't have practice starting until December 7th. So
wow.
Is River Falls in there? Because they don't start till December 5th.
Yep.
Okay, so that one's slightly delayed, but seemingly going to go forth on both the boys and the girls. Alrighty, that gets us to
Classic 8.
Classic 8.
Classic 8 looks like everybody in that is playing WIAA.
Yeah, I know University School's already got 2 games in.
Yeah, so does Waukesha. They, I believe they're both non-conference.
Kenosha is currently on hold. I believe that's the only one that's severely impacted at the moment. They're currently on hold.
So that means who knows, right?
That could mean anything. That's what we got from the survey that Coach Brandt did. So that could mean they're practice only. That could mean they're not on the ice at all right now until further notice. It's tough to say. I take it to mean they're not on the ice right now until further notice.
Okay. What's the comparable over on the girls' side? That'd be the Eastern Shores.
Yep, Eastern Shores. Arrowhead's already gotten a game in. Bay Area looks like they're playing Waha. Brookfield had 2 games canceled. Fox City Stars has played a couple games. Lightning's played. USM's played. And so it looks like the Bay Area would be the only one out of there that's playing Waha.
Well, I gotta tip my cap to Dell. You ever think about a problem and the completely obvious solution just eludes you? Like, we email the coaches asking for information, and a bunch of coaches respond, but they don't all. Dell emailed Waha and said, hey, which high school girls teams are playing this year? And they told him. There's Cap City, the Metro Lynx, Bay Area, a couple other ones. Like, well, that was easy. Obviously, Waha has the list.
Yeah, if they're playing Waha would know about it.
Yeah.
Good thinking, Dell.
I went and searched their site first, and I couldn't find anything, so I just put a comment up there. And I was surprised it got back to me in less than a couple hours. So, and thank you to Waha for the quick response.
You can hear people now. Just kill the WIA. Just play Waha all the time.
Oh, I saw enough comments of that on Facebook today.
All right. Coulee region.
Black River Falls is one of the other teams that has not responded to the survey yet, so we don't know their status. Viroqua does not seem to have any games scheduled, and West Salem's only got 4 games on their schedule right now. So it's hard to say what's going on in the Coulee Conference right now.
Well, and you mentioned Black River Falls there. Well, their girls team I know is playing Waha. Viroqua girls team's gotten a game in already this year against the Western Wisconsin Stars. So.
Okay. Fox River Classic.
They are, for the most part right now, proceeding as normal.
At Notre Dame's already played. I saw they beat Stevens Point.
Yeah, they spanked Stevens Point.
Well, 6-1.
Yeah. Sheboygan, I believe. What are they doing? Everything's alphabetical. They're not on my list. I'll have to fix them because I must have missed them. But I believe they're playing Waha.
I see they did play a game the other night.
Against who?
I don't know. Let me go to that one website, see if they got it. Brookfield.
Sports.net.
Oh, it's on on Sunday. They played Brookfield and beat them 4-3 in overtime.
On Sunday.
Yeah,
that sounds like a Waha type. That sounds like a Waha game. Waha.
I believe
Sunday games are not rare for Waha.
I believe Sheboygan is playing Waha. I may have accidentally deleted them when I was deleting Stoughton from the Waha list. So I'll go back and fix that. But other than that, that conference is intact.
Yeah, and as we said before, just because the team is playing a Waha schedule, that doesn't mean they're not going to play against other high school teams that are still remaining with the WIAA.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Fox River Classic. Great Northern Conference, I believe, is pretty much going on normally. I know that Antigo is limited to playing conference games only. Coach Borneman may be regretting his talking the teams into only playing each other once. as they normally do. Because if that's all the games he's got, he's going to have to play them more than once each. Because they had gone to the play each other conference teams once and then do a conference tournament. So if all he can play is the conference teams and they fill their schedule, because I think all of the other Great Northern teams can do their normal schedule. So if the rest of the teams fill their schedules, then Anago gets 7 games, and that's that.
Well, and then the conference tournament.
Yeah, that. Okay.
Which I'm going to assume, just for safety's sake, is not going to be held at one location this year.
I would
We
think
don't
that's
really know
a
what
pretty good
things are going
bet.
to look like at the end of January, the beginning of
we don't know what
February.
January is going to look like.
We don't even know what next week's going to look like.
No, we don't.
Cold.
I'm not even entirely sure what day it is.
But that's what's going to be the beauty of the season. It's going to change moment by moment. It's good.
Okay, the
It's
beauty
going to
of
be
it,
hard to
yeah.
follow.
The Great Northern Girls there, Del?
Actually, it looks like those. We only have the 3 teams in the Great Northern Girls side: Northern Edge, Northland Pines, and Medford. And as far as we know, that they're going on against each other as scheduled. So
That's right.
actually,
Lakeland Tomahawk is part of the Edge now, right?
Let's say I was going to ask you for a breakdown of the teams now.
and stuff.
Can you tell me who's on what team?
I don't know. I hold on one second. I did print out WIAA's thing, so
Just like that, he
Dell's,
jumped
while
off.
Dell's fetching his notes, MJ will sing us a tune.
Del just jumped overboard.
He's clear for takeoff.
let's see. What do we got here? Easy ever. Medford, Northland Pines has got Hurley, Ironwood, and Wakefield. Rhinelander, Anago, Lakeland, Three Lakes, and Wabeno are part of the Northern Edge.
I don't see Tomahawk.
I don't see Tomahawk anywhere.
Hatchets.
So Northland Pines didn't absorb any other Great Northern Conference teams. They just brought in a bunch of girls, bunch of Yoopers. Is what you're saying.
And Hurley.
Hurley, Hurley. I guess they're technically not quite Yoopers there on the border there. But none of those schools have WIAA teams, or even rinks for that. None of those places have rinks. The Hurley, if they're Hurley girls that played hockey, they would have played in Ironwood. Did you say Ironwood was one of those teams?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
All right, yeah. So that would be the girls from Hurley then also. And that's not a short drive
No.
from Eagle River to Ironwood Hurley area up on the very tip of Highway 51. Okay.
All
Where
right.
were we?
Middle border.
Middle border. I just did the middle border today, didn't I?
Amory is currently on hold. I think everybody else... Who else is in that one?
Somerset, New Richmond.
Everybody else is just listed as WIA, so they should be ready to go. But Amory is on
Baldwin,
hold.
Woodville.
If anybody is interested in Amory hockey, like a whole lot, they've been running a trivia contest on their Twitter feed for the last 12 days, and I have gotten 0 answers correct. Generally, because somebody like looks it up before I have a chance to, but
Somebody who has maybe a little bit better access to that info.
I see you, Amory hockey. I know what you're doing out there. Good job. I like it. They've been 12 days. I think they've been doing a Twitter trivia contest of Amory hockey stuff. Yeah, middle border looks, other than Amory is on hold, everybody else is good to go. I wonder what, like, you see that one hold out there, like, I could ask, but, like, why is Amory on hold but New Richmond's not and Somerset's not? I heard from Coach Dan Gilkerson at Somerset, they got their live barn installed this last weekend, I believe. So live barn subscribers can watch their games. There's a lot of rinks in Wisconsin with live barn now.
Well, I think that may be a thing we have to do too. Then is just buy a couple of subscriptions to live barn so we can, if we can't go to these games, at least we can watch them. And
well, before you talk about buying them, I have approached them about them just giving us a couple. So I'm trying to work on that first.
Oh, their media companies love trades. That's right.
Yes.
I just work for a radio station. They'll trade anything. Websites do that too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right then. North
Got any
Shore.
rooms at the state tournament for us?
Well, North
okay,
Shore,
yeah, North Shore. Who's in the North Shore?
I see Cedarburg's already got 2 games in this weekend. They played KMMO and West Bend. So then you got Homestead and Whitefish Bay.
Homestead did play. They played Waukesha.
And Whitefish Bay did say they're going to be playing a shortened schedule this season. They're not going to try even to get like all 24 events you're allowed to have, 24 games or whatever. They're not going to try and make that happen.
So are they? Does that mean they're starting late, or? Let me take a look at their schedule. I mean,
everybody is starting later than normal, but they've only got like a dozen games on their schedule right now.
Yeah, starting on December 8th.
And like Fox Cities and Appleton United are the furthest away. I mean, now they're not always a huge travel team, but it's all like right in the area.
Oh, speaking of that, I was looking at their schedule, and like the space between Christmas and New Year's looks kind of blank. I suppose we can say goodbye to holiday tournaments this year.
Well,
As far as we know, the Joe Raymond is still going on.
Right now, looking at RWD schedule, I see that they still had the Monk's Cheeseburger Classic still scheduled to go on the 26th of December and 27th.
All right, I guess that was.
But who knows?
Assume
who knows
something
what's
that
going to
wasn't
happen?
necessarily so.
Yeah. But that could be subject to change.
Well, as everything is.
Right. All
Especially this year.
Mississippi Valley.
Well, Onalaska and Aquinas won't be starting practices till December 18th. The Toma Co-op, I think they actually had some JV games going on this past weekend or scrimmage, but so, figure be middle of December before you see anything coming out of that conference.
Well, I guess fortunately, a conference with 3 teams, even if you start in late December, you can still play each of the other 2 teams twice and not have to worry about it.
I mean, they could realistically finish their conference schedule in the span of a week.
They could.
Yes, they could.
2 games against each of them. I mean, it's not hard.
Okay.
No,
Wisconsin Valley Conference. That seems to be going on as normal. I updated the widgets and stuff for the Wisconsin Valley Conference today, and everybody's got games scheduled, and a couple of teams like Stevens Point's already played. I think there's a few of them have games tomorrow. Marshfield and East Merrill play tomorrow. Stevens Point, Wisconsin Rapids play tomorrow. So yeah, the Wisconsin Valley Conference seems to be moving along.
We say normal, but as normal as 2020 can be, like Wausau West and Superior and Notre Dame Academy and Eau Claire Memorial did not have their tournament in Eau Claire this year. Wausau West and USM did not have their annual, and DC Everest did not have their annual early season meetup like they do pretty much every year for the last several years. On the schedule right now, University School and Wausau West don't meet until it looks like Cornerstone December 28th. So that's the showdown in Titletown. So we say normal in that they're still playing, but nothing is normal.
Right. Okay. And let's see. Then we got the independents. How many independent girls teams are there, Del? Any? Oh yeah, Black River Falls, Central Wisconsin, Western Wisconsin, Onalaska, Superior. Yeah. What do they got going on?
Are you on mute, Del?
Del's on mute.
I like hearing myself talk. Nobody else gets subject to the pain. Then
the nice thing about having video on the podcasts now is we can see when the other person is on mute and talking. So like, hey idiot.
Black River Falls is playing Waha to start the season. The rest of them in there, I think, are going to be going as regular as possible. I know Superior had one game against International Falls canceled. Onalaska will be on that delayed start. Western Wisconsin's already played, and then Central Wisconsin will be playing. And it's going to be different watching Central Wisconsin play this year. No Pete Susans on the bench.
Did they find another redheaded coach?
Actually, I want to say I'm not good on the pronunciation of this. Is Jouvert?
Jacques Duvert?
Yes.
Jacques Duvert, former Northland Pine coach, isn't he?
He's also the athletic director for. He's the athletic director for DC Everest. Oh, okay. Never mind. Because I got an email from Pete today. He just told me that. Paul Federici. He's just going to update the website. That doesn't mean he's going to be the coach. Okay, never mind.
I remember that correctly,
Duvert,
right?
Duvert was the.
He's
one of them, French Canadian types.
Obviously, his name is Jacques Duvert.
Yeah.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he's the athletic director at DC Everest.
Oh, okay. Jacques Duvert.
So what do the independents on the boys' side look like there, Burglar?
Ashland isn't starting until tomorrow. Whistle Flag isn't starting until tomorrow. Superior is playing Waha for the time being. The first 5 games listed on their schedule are all postponed, which is December 8th through December 22nd. And who knows how those cross-state games...
I thought those were just Minnesota teams, but the December 22nd was actually Baldwin-Woodville.
Yeah.
That's postponed.
And then like all their Minnesota games currently listed on the schedule are listed as home games at Westman. So I'm wondering if will like Minnesota probably won't allow them in the state. Kind of like a Dane County thing. Like we can go to you, but you can't come to us.
I think that they even have a tighter restriction than Wisconsin has.
They have much tighter restrictions than Wisconsin has.
That's
so I think it's like a Dane County situation where Superior can't go into Minnesota to play, but they can go to Superior to play. That would be my guess. What other independents are there? Hayward,
Shawamigan,
Northwest
Phillips,
Iceman.
Butternut.
They're one of the 3 teams that has not responded to the survey. Hayward is currently playing WIAA hockey.
Northwest Iceman.
They've already got a game in, I think.
Yeah, the Barron Co-op. They've got they're playing.
Yeah, Shawamigan Phillips. I updated their website today, and they only have 3 games on their schedule for this year. One of them is January 8th against Shawano, and then 2 games that got home and home with Ashland. So I don't know that there's a whole lot going on with Shawamigan Phillips Butternut in the Waha circle is known as Price Ice.
Price Ice. Okay.
Well, teams are playing Waha right now, and that's probably largely because their schools have canceled activities. I don't think a team looked at it and said, we don't like the WIA, we're going to go play Waha. No, their school canceled activities. So if they want to play hockey, they have to play Waha. That's what's left. Right?
Sounds about right.
Okay. Because, I posted this today, and on our Facebook page, there are a couple people slathering, down with the WIA, everybody go play Waha. And I'm like, what would the state tournament look like if we had Waha? I know everybody hates the Coliseum, but we'd be playing in, Wausau West's arena this year and Stevens Point's arena next year and Hobbs the next year. I mean, Waha doesn't have the money to put on that kind of state tournament, do they? I mean, I know people would like to use this as a first step to kill the WIA and just play hockey with, hockey stuff, but no, stop it. Grow up. Am I crazy?
Besides that, the WIAA
Did you put your mic up, Phil?
For none of this cancellation. The WIAA didn't cancel any of this stuff. It's all the individual schools that have canceled this. So, if you're saying get rid of the if you're saying what you should be saying is get rid of the hockey program as a function of the school. And you talk to people in areas that don't have WIAA type, where the hockey program is a function of the school, and they don't get nearly the participation that it does when it's actually a high school function. The club teams do not get the participation that the actual high school teams do. When you can letter in the sport with your high school, it makes it a bigger thing than just playing club hockey. So don't say the WIAA isn't the one that is canceling these things. Down in the Madison area, it's Dane County. In other places, it's the school districts. It's not the WIAA. So just wait a minute. Am I sticking up for the WIAA?
It's a weird position for any of us to be in.
I have had much
that
wine.
just goes to prove 2020 changed everything.
Yes.
2020 changed everything.
Cut me off.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I guess, as we're getting down towards the end of this, the one thing that I'd like to say is if any coaches are listening to this, and if we're allowed to come to your rink to take photos and write up a game article, let us know, because we don't know what rinks we're going to be allowed in right now.
It was hard enough before, knowing if we were welcome at various rinks, but now we don't know if we're going to be allowed in.
Well, that's kind of weird, because I know Chad Holmes, WCCO, he's doing games on the radio. I saw that on his Twitter. He's still got a schedule full of games. But my kid's supposed to start mini mites back on the November 3rd or something. It's not going to start until December 20th. I'm not allowed in the building because Everest Youth Hockey operates out of the high school. I am not allowed in the building. I'm supposed to drop my 4-year-old off and say, hey, go get on the ice?
That is ridiculous.
Well, I know Caitlin didn't sign JT up for ice mites this year for the same reason. She was supposed to have to drop him off.
okay, I have to drop my kids off for hockey because I'm not allowed to go in the building. I'll tell them, well, I can't go in the building. And they'll be like, why? I'm like, because of the virus. We're just limiting people, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Daddy, the next night, okay, Daddy, where are you going? Grandma's going to watch you while I go to the hockey rink to take some pictures. Like, what?
Well, the other thing is you sit there and it's really hard because for how many years, and Burglar, and MJ, you can answer to this. Did we sit there and wish parents would stick around at the rinks instead of using it as a babysitting service when they drop the kids off to practice and then might show up on time to pick them up at the end of practice?
Well, I mean, Burglar had one of his kids walking home after practice. So.
I don't know where you coached, but when I was coaching, no, parents drop your kids off and then leave. I don't want parents sticking around during practice.
Well, that depends on the age level of the kids, though, too. Like mini mites, you don't want the parents
running
off.
You actually want them out on the ice. But like I was coaching Pee-wees, and I had a kid, one of the dads in the stands, yelling at the kid during practice, and it's like, hey, shut up. That's my job. If you want to watch, just sit there and shut up. I'm the one that yells.
He did.
Yeah, but we would have that a lot, where parents would just drop off and leave kids, and maybe an hour or so later they show up and, oh, look at that, practice is over, timed it just right.
I mean, my brother didn't start walking home with his goalie pads because Dad forgot about him once.
Did you actually forget?
One time.
Just throw the old leg pads over the shoulder and guess we go.
What was he, like a squirt or a peewee? Squirt?
I think he was a squirt. Say, do you need a ride home? No, my dad's coming to get me. I think. Maybe.
So, MJ, have you come to terms with a senior this year?
Here's the thing. I feel so sorry for these senior kids. All senior kids, not just my kid, all senior kids in the state of Wisconsin, athletes, because you are just getting such a raw deal with this whole COVID thing. It's not supposed to be like this.
Well,
but yeah, I've come to grips with it with Mason.
To be perfectly honest, seniors are the only reason we're trying to do any of this. If it wasn't for seniors who are looking at their last year of whether it's hockey or baseball or the freaking marching band, we wouldn't be doing any of this. We wouldn't even be trying. We'd just be like, we don't need to do that stuff right now. Everybody's health is more important, but we're trying to give people those memories. If it wasn't for seniors, we wouldn't even be trying.
I know I can tell you that the senior group that he has with his team is very frustrated with the way things are going. I mean, but what can they do about it? I mean, you can take all the precautions, but somehow, some way, it seems like it sneaks through. So, what do you do? But we're going to make the best of it. He's gonna stick it out, and we'll just play this whole thing out. And honestly, he's not going to go on and play junior hockey, college hockey, or anything like that. He's going to get what he gets out of it, and pretty much that's it.
He's going to graduate and go back to cheering for Eau Claire Memorial like he used to.
Oh my God.
But the thing is with what you Junior was saying earlier,
made him cry?
The seniors last spring, whoever had spring sports and then graduation, and I guess that's the one thing I really hope for is that when we get towards the spring this year, these kids that are graduating this year can actually have a regular graduation instead of what they had to deal with last year.
Yeah. That's what I've kind of hoped for, but I guess we'll only know, and time will tell. You hear about a vaccine and all that coming out, but that's another story for another day, and we'll see. We'll see if it affects the hockey season.
Yeah. So yeah, with that said, we're going to take this 1 week at a time. We were originally thinking that there weren't enough teams going to be playing regularly. Maybe we're not going to do the top 10 or the top 6 or whatever. Maybe we're not going to do a player of the week or a game of the week. But like I say, it's all fluid at this point. Like I say, week by week. Drop us a line if you have any suggestions. What's their email address? Or just says
WIPH 3.0 at gmail.com.
There you go. Yeah, and we'll get back to you. We're kind of open for suggestions this year. We want to do the best we can. We're just not quite sure how we're going to do that.
There's no owner's manual to this. I mean,
right.
We're just going to have to fly by the seat of our pants.
Yep, and we thought there were going to be more teams playing Waha. That's why we decided, we told the coaches earlier this year, we're not going to do rankings this year, but there's not that many, so rankings will probably happen. Game of the week, we're not going to force them this year, that's for sure. If there's not a game that we can get to, or, that we're allowed in or whatever, we're not going to force a game of the week. There's going to be games of the week, but might not be a game of the week every week, kind of thing. Players of the week, please send us nominations. Good Lord. That helps tremendously when we don't have to troll through box scores for 60 games to find players who preferably played at least twice. And non-blowouts.
To piggyback on MJ's thing, nominate seniors, please. You got a senior on your team that did something good that week, let us know. Clue us in. We'll do the best we can.
Sounds good to me. Gentlemen, anything else you want to speak highly of?
I think you should take us home.
Take us home? Okay, Junior, you'll get to choose the song of Open this week, so I would imagine you'll find something very...
I stopped using intro music 2 years ago.
He quit doing that years ago.
I'm trying to get him to do it with the way this is opening up, the way this season's opening up. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would probably choose "It's the End of the World as We Know It" by REM.
There you go.
It's the end of the world as we know it. All right. So for what's that?
And I feel fine.
And I feel fine. Okay, for the Bill Senior, Bill Junior, Dell, I'm Mike Hammett. We'll try better next week. You've been listening to This Week in Wisconsin Prep Hockey.